there, welcome to our channel and welcome back to my kitchen. Y'all come on in. Today we are gonna make peach preserves. They have been hanging out in my freezer since the summer and they gotta go. I am running out of room, and the best way to clean out a freezer is to can it up. Peaches are one of the easiest things to learn how to water bath. If you've never water bathed before, peaches, apricots, apples, those are all really easy recipes that don't require a lot of ingredients or a lot of know-how. You just have to follow the directions and everything will work out perfect every time. The first thing we're going to talk about are the tools that you're going to need. You're going to need a jar lifter. You need a debubbler. You need a lid lifter. You need a funnel. You need a ladle and a good, nice, heavy spoon for stirring. And you're going to need jars, rings, and lids. Now the jars, you can do one of two ways. I'm going to use half pints today because I also use peach preserves for other like cooking ingredients, but you can absolutely can it in a pint. I wouldn't go to a quart, but a pint or the pint and a half little glasses like like this one, the little 12-ounce jars, those make really nice preserve jars too. But you can't hardly find these anymore. If you find these, you are lucky. You're also going to need a good, nice, deep pot for cooking your preserves in. And you're going to need a nice, big, deep pot to water bath in. Now, I'm using my pressure cooker pot today because I accidentally dropped my water bath canner and it got a little indent in it and it rusted and it got a hole in it. But you know, that's after probably 20 years worth of use. But I don't have one right now, and this pressure cooker pot will do the job just fine. And you're also going to need something to put in the bottom of your pot. Now, my pressure canner came with a false bottom, so I don't have to worry about that. If you don't have this and you're just using a big pot, take a nice dish towel and sink it to the bottom just so your glasses or your jars are not sitting directly on the bottom of the pot. And let's go ahead and put that in there now before I forget, because sometimes I forget and then I have to take it all out and start over. Okay, so now in my pressure pot, I've already got my water on and it's on high, and because I need to sterilize my jars. If you're putting hot food in a hot jar, your jar needs to be hot. So we're going to go ahead and put those in there and let them sterilize while we're cooking our peaches. Okay, I safely put 11 half-pint jars in there. I know I can only get 7, maybe 8 of the pints in here at any given time. But also, you know, if you don't have a water bather or a pressure canner, a pot like this will work just fine, and you can probably get 6, 7 in there. Anything will work to water bath. Pressure cannon's a lot different. But water bathing, you can use pretty much anything that you can sink the glass into. Okay, your ingredient list for making the peach preserves is just some sugar gel, some peaches, some lemon juice, and some sugar. The vinegar is for wiping the rims clean and making sure there's no sugar or anything on your rims, and to put into your canner so that your glasses come out clear. All right, most canning books will tell you that you can't double a recipe. And if you don't feel like you should, then absolutely don't. But I do this all the time, and I always double batch preserves because even if they're a little loose, they're still wonderful. They still taste great. And so I've never had an issue with doubling the recipe. So that is exactly what I'm going to do today. So the measurements that I give you, you just cut them in half, and that would be a standard peach preserve recipe. So we're going to start with our peaches, and I have 8 cups of peaches. I thawed out last night 2 bags of 2 pounds each. So I have 4 pounds of peaches, which equals 8 cups. So we're going to get those in there. And we're going to get 2. So it'd be 4 tablespoons. The only thing I didn't grab was a measuring cup. A measuring spoon. There we go. All right. So I need 4 tablespoons of lemon juice. There we go. And we need to get this eye turned on now. Slide this back. We're going to go for a medium-high heat. It really doesn't need to be all the way up on high. Medium-high heat. And we're going to let that come up to a boil, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, we're starting to get a little bubble now, so I'm going to go in and stir it and see if I get another little bubble. If I get another little bubble, then we'll start adding. All right, I've been simmering and I'm up to a nice boil now. It's been about 20 minutes. Now it's time to add my pectin. So we're going to add that pectin first. Because I'm doubling, I'm going to use 2 packs of pectin. I just use Sure Gel brand. Actually, it's getting really expensive now. I need to go online probably and see if I can find a less expensive alternative, because it's getting really outrageous. Okay, we're going to get that stirred in. There we go. We're going to boil that for about a minute. Let it come back up to a boil and boil for a minute. Bang, bang, bada, bang, bang. I'm banging all the time. Okay, I'm at a good boil now, so I'm going to boil it for a minute. And I'm just guesstimating a minute. Now we're going to start adding sugar, and I need 14 cups of sugar. So that's going to take a minute. Nine, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And you want to gently stir it in. You don't really want a whole bunch to stick to the sides of your pot. I mean, some of it's going to be inevitable, but you really need to wash that down. So I'm going to put the lid on it here after I get it stirred in. Just so I can, the steam will wash the sugar off the side of the pot. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and put that lid on there. My sugar's dissolved, except for that's around the rim. So I'm gonna put that lid on there, let it get nice and steamy, and your sugar should come off of the sides and go down, and then you can stir it again, and then we're not gonna mess with it until there's a rolling boil that you cannot stir down. Okay, see how the steam has got up like that? And my sugar has dissolved around the sides of the pan. And I'm going to give it a stir. At this point, my peaches have not broke down quite as much as I would have liked them to. So I'm going to go in with an emulsion blender and break them up a little bit more. If you don't have an emulsion blender, a regular standard potato masher will work just fine, because I'm not trying to make them smooth. I just want to break them up. That's all I'm going to do. I'm still going to leave some nice big pieces, but I didn't need all of them to be big, especially putting them in those half-pint jars. Okay, now what I'm going to do is just occasionally go in there and lift it off the bottom, because I don't want it to scorch. I just want it to boil. So I just kind of, just like that, just move it around just a little tiny bit. Bang, bangity bang. And now we're just waiting on that boil. Okay, we are coming up on that really good rolling boil now. I can't stir it down. See, the bubbles are still there even though I'm stirring. We're going to do that for 1 minute, and then we're going to take it off the heat. Minutes up, heat is off. I'm going to let it sit there for just a minute, and then we're going to take that foam off. While I'm waiting for that to lay down, we're going to take our jars out and get them all nice and lined up. Another tool that you need to have is you need some kind of rag, or I like to use the drying mats that are nice and thick, so that you're not setting those hot jars onto a cold surface. That's really important, because sometimes those jars will crack. Now I need to move this one back over here and put this one back over here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take that foam off the top. Okay, and don't shut this eye off. Let that water stay hot so that when you go to boil it, it doesn't take nearly as long. Now we're just going to skim. Get as much foam off as we can. Okay. You know, I'm going through all this, but my granny never did this. She would take a pat or two of butter, and she would drop that butter in there, and all that foam would dissipate. But, you know, FDA or whatever or whoever decided that you couldn't do that. So now we have to stand here and take it off. But like I said, Granny just put a couple pats of butter in there, and all that foam would be gone. All right. Okay, that's about as far as I'm gonna go, and that's how much foam I got. And we're gonna leave it go at that. We are going into the home stretch. This is the part I like the best, because that means I am almost done. And we need just a 1/4 inch of headspace, which means just almost to the top. Now I do have this that can show you what a 1/4 of an inch is, but I mean, I've been doing it so long till I just know. So we're going with what I know. And if you'll notice, I always scrape the bottom of my ladle. That's so I don't make quite as big a mess, which I'm still doing anyway, but I'm trying. Y'all, you know, as far as necessary equipment goes, I don't know how you could do it without a funnel. I truly don't. That is such a lifesaver. You know, mine's just a cheap plastic one I got at Walmart, but I've had it for years and years and years. And it still does the job. Okay, now these preserves are pretty thick, and you probably don't have a lot of bubbles, but you still need to go ahead and debubble anyway, just in case. All you have to do is just move that debubbler around in there, go down to the bottom, and it'll push any air up to the top. But like I said, you know, peach preserves are really thick. You really shouldn't have too much of a problem with air bubbles. That's why I'm saying it's one of the easiest for a new canner to get a little experience before they try doing other things, because it is so easy and pretty much foolproof. All right, now we're going to take that vinegar that I have sitting here, and we're going to cut that sugar off the tops of these rims. Make sure that there's nothing on those rims that would impede a seal. And you want to make sure, absolutely sure, that there is nothing impeding that rim. And this one, I must have really dripped. And they are hot, super hot. That's a good thing I've been doing it a long time. They are hot. Hot, hot, hot. Oh, in case y'all just heard that, yes, that's a real rooster outside. He's really proud of himself for something, because he's been just at it for a while. Last one. Youch. Seems like the longer they sit, the hotter they get. Now we're going to put those lids and rings on. Fingertip tight. That's all you need. No need to torque them down. Just nice and snug. That's it. Last one. Now we're going to move this out of the way. I'm going to turn this eye back on high, because that one does not get hot enough. Okay? It will not get hot enough. I need a rolling boil, so I need that eye. I'm going to slide this pot on there. And we are going to load up. Just like that. Be really careful putting them in. Don't be banging them together. Make sure they have a little room, like probably, that much room in between each one. Okay, and you see I have about 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch of water above the top. That's what the professionals say you should do. I don't want to lead anybody astray, so we're going to do it that way. Sometimes I don't have that much water in there, but we're going to be good today. Now that they're all in here, I'm going to put a lid on it, and I'm going to let it come up to a full rolling boil. Once it comes to that rolling boil, from that time, I'm going to start the timer for 10 minutes. Because they need to be in that rolling water bath for 10 minutes. So, that's going to be a few minutes. I'll see you then. I almost forgot, but I didn't. So, we're in good shape. What you need to do is that leftover vinegar, you need to pour it into your pot, because if you don't, when your jars come out, you'll have to wash them. They'll have like fuzzy, cloudy stuff all over the outside of them. If you put that vinegar in there, they come out absolutely beautiful. All right, I've got a good rolling boil now. Now, I'm not going to lift that lid because that's liable to make it drop. We're going to leave it alone and start that timer for 10 minutes. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are done. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, now we're just going to turn that eye off, all the way off. Where's off? There it is. Going to take that lid off. And we're going to let them sit there for another 2 or 3 minutes. Just let that water come down just a little before we start pulling them out. Okay, plus my 11 jars that are in here, I have what I call refrigerator jam, which means I get one and my neighbor gets one. That's what was left over, and I didn't want to run the water bath again for just 2 or 3 little jars. So these are just going to go, they're going to sit out here and they're going to cool, and then they're going to go in the fridge, and they'll be the first ones you eat. awesome sauce, which is what a lot of this will get used for. It's not just preserves for bagels. It is for making pork roast and outside on the grill in the summertime. Ice cream, yogurt, you name it, you can use peach preserves. Now, all we have to do is wait for that magical ping. Let them sit. There went one. Wait for 24 hours, and then we'll take the lid, the rings off, because you do not want to store it with the rings on. That just rusts and makes a mess. And if something did go wrong, you'd never know because it'd be a false seal. So just take those rings off. And that's it, we're done. Like, subscribe, share, become a member of our channel. We'd love to have you. And we will see you in the next video.